I am Robert Edwin House II, clone of Robert Edwin House I, the President, CEO, and sole proprietor of the New Vegas Strip. Before the Great War of 2077, he was the founder, president, and CEO of Robco Industries, a vast computer and robotics corporation. Due to certain complications with the cloning process, I am communicating with you via the brain chip the original Mr. House installed in you, which is why I may sound a little bit robotic. We have been given instructions involving learning hand-to-hand combat against a certain wasteland delinquent. I have been informed that he is a member of a weak society and that we should put him out of our misery. Let's beat the fuck out of this tax enforcement lackey, Robco style. I have memories of doing this to homeless people under bridges in Los Angeles when I was younger after a hard day. It's amazing the things people would do for money back then. This weak society member can't even reach you with his punches. We need to screenshot that NFT when we are done here.
You like that?
We will unify the wasteland together, Courier, starting with this pussyo whose brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam.
You like that?
I think I will head to the New Vegas clinic after this to get some implants. I think there might be a similar cloning process going on in Republic territories. Our logs indicate that you have killed this guy 200 or more times. What a badass society.
Wait. I'm a very busy man. If a transaction is to be made, then please make it quick. My name is Scribonius Lebo Drusus, but to keep your profligate tongue from twisting, you may call me Scribonius. I'm an administrator for the Consul Officiorum ab Famulatus, or in your words, Consul of the Offices of Slavery. I'm an administrator for the Offices of Slavery. My role here is to manage the flow of slave, both incoming and outgoing. It is for me to make the arrangements to snatch potential slaves and to work as the middleman for all transactions regarding third parties. That isn't my only job, but yes, that is a small part of what I do. While we Legion take slaves as we conquer, there is always a need for additional hands, whether they are destined to work for us or with us. Do not get ahead of yourself. Yes, I will purchase almost any capture you bring to me, but you will only be paid based on their quality. The stronger the slave, the higher the payoff. Whelps cannot handle hard labor. What makes you think they will cover the expense of a collar? You will need a slave collar, something that will ensure they get here. Without one, they aren't likely to listen to you. The matter of how you get the collar onto them is up to you. I would recommend bludgeoning your target with something blunt. Cattle prods work. Of course, you may even try to use your words, though I'm sure not many profligates are very willing to don an explosive collar. After leashing your slave, make sure to take their weapons from them before sending them to me. An armed slave can be a headache. The collar has a GPS built into it with verbal instruction on where to go and how to get there. If they don't listen to the directions given, they will meet a swift end and become a mess that not even their kin would clean. The collar will work regardless of where you are in the world. It's the collar's range that could be considered lacking. In simple terms, the collar needs to be able to handshake with the post you're sending it to. If the collar isn't able to relay this post's transmission, then you won't be able to send a capture here. It's the post's relay that provides directions on where the collar will send the slave. Yes, of course. You may choose to purchase one with caps and dinars alike. Should you choose to use dinars, I'll give you a better rate. What do you want? I'm afraid we don't offer specific contracts. What we do offer is opera magna, a means to those who are looking to gain favor and earn caps. Opera magna, it means bulk work to those who aren't proficient in Latin tongue. It's when we delegate tasks to third-party contractors to gather a number of individuals from specific organizations and castes from the wasteland. So, you're interested in feeding our bull? Valde bene. We've got some new recruits who are eager to test their skills on live targets. And what better way to prepare them for battle than by practicing on those they'll be facing in combat? For your first bit of bulk work, how about sending NCR troopers our way? I didn't ask for rangers, did I? You can send rangers this way, but they won't count towards the bulk work. Bona fortuna. 100 caps, and it's yours. The buying price is relative to the manufacturing price. To make it anything lower than asking is a joke I will not tolerate.
I was born there, as a matter of fact. Well, down in the vault that was built there, on what used to be the Las Vegas Strip, at least. Paradise, I think they called it, before the war. It was nice living compared to out here in the desert. But I'll say there's something about being able to look up at night, breathe in the fresh air and see the stars. Everything nice down there in that vault, well, it just can't compare to that feeling. I was born in New Vegas, but I never really knew much about Mr. House. Never met him or nothing like that. Way I heard him talked about, he sounded like a strong kind of leader, knew what he was doing. But he sounded ruthless too, like a fella who sees his way as the only way of doing things.
You here to pay your respects too?
Are you here to stop the voices in my head? You know the definition of insanity? It's staring at this memorial day in, day out. Mr. House can send you to kill me every day, but he will fail.
My name is Jeffrey Scrap Hill. I trade everything imaginable if all you can imagine is bits of twisted scrap. Come take a look. Well, I left Burham Springs a few years ago. I've been wandering southwest ever since. I don't have any real plans, but it might be nice to see what's happening in the hub again. Maybe open a little shop now that things have died down. Who knows? I'm just glad I don't have to worry about any Gehennas this far southwest. I was born Jeffrey Hill. People back home just called me Scrap because I used to collect all sorts of junk. Be warned, I have a good day.
I hear folks talk about a strange hotel somewhere, way out towards the Grand Canyon, but nobody's ever laid eyes on it. I tried to call and make me a reservation, since I figured a scientist would surely be a guest of honor. It's a shame I ain't got any money or a telephone. They say some real big burly folk done moved into an old snow factory way up in the hills around New Vegas. Some folks say they're some kind of super mutants. Pah, leave it to the layman to never grasp science. I say they're just a troop of bodybuilders looking to hale themselves against the elements, probably getting ready for a strongman competition in Greenland. Now, no offense to present company, but I used to think there was nobody out there as smart as me. Nobody sane left in this insane world. But then I tuned one of them talking TVs into Black Mountain Radio, and I was blown away. A fella speaking the truth, telling it just like it is. If you want some real enlightenment, listen to it, before they take it off the air.
Hey, wait a second. I won 100,000 caps at the Nipton lottery, and I heard that the NCR taxmen want to take 45% of it. Who do they think they are anyway? They haven't even fixed the roads in the Mojave. So what will my tax money get used for? Are they seriously going to spend my lottery winnings on cloning Private Kowalski to stand outside a slab of stone which is getting destroyed basically every other day? Something is compelling me to shout that the NCR are a weak society, and I don't even know what that means.
Howdy, stranger. Name's Bradley. How can I help you? Yeah, I was run off from my shack down south. I'm a refugee now. Ha! Why would All Might Legion need my crappy little shack? No, it was Jackals. Yup. Bunch of cannibal raiders. Luckily, I saw them coming, booby-trapped my shack, took some essentials, and, well, became a refugee. Raider tribe from California. I learned about them back in New Reno, in Mr. Wright's school. They came from the same vault as Vipers, Khans, and NCR's founders. One particularly bad winter, they were forced into cannibalism, and they liked it. About 150 years ago, they were driven out of California by the Khans and NCR, and they began wandering all over the wastes, Colorado, Texas, and more. Now they are a mere shadow of their past selves, brutalized by every faction and on the way towards total annihilation. Good riddance, if you ask me. Well, I left back there some stuff I would like to have with me. All right, if you bring me their leader's left hand, I will pay you most of the caps I took with me, 200 to be exact. I could see from the distance that he had 6 fingers of differing lengths on his left hand. If you bring me that hand, I will be sure he is dead.
So you're looking for the man who shot you, huh? I can't say I'm surprised. It's only natural to want to seek revenge against someone who's done you harm. But before you go rushing off to track down this person, I'd like to offer some advice. Revenge can be a dangerous thing, both physically and emotionally. It's important to take a step back and consider the consequences of your actions. Have you considered what you'll do once you find this person? Will you try to reason with them, or will you resort to violence? And if you do decide to use violence, are you prepared for the possible consequences? There's always a risk that things could go wrong, and you could end up getting hurt or even killed. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pursue this person, but I would encourage you to do so with caution and careful planning. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is simply living well and moving on from the past. Well, that's certainly an unusual request. As you know, ghouls are often subject to discrimination and mistreatment in the wasteland, so it's understandable that they might be looking for a way out. That being said, launching a group of ghouls into space is not something to be taken lightly. It's a risky proposition, both for the ghouls and for anyone involved in the launch process. Before making any decisions, I would advise taking the time to gather more information about the situation. Talk to the ghouls and find out more about their reasons for wanting to be sent into space. Are they hoping to start a new life on another planet, or are they simply looking for a way to escape the wasteland? You'll also want to assess the risks involved in the launch process. Is the technology and equipment in good working order? Or is there a chance of something going wrong? What kind of support will the ghouls need during the launch process and beyond? Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to help the ghouls is up to you. But make sure to weigh the risks and benefits carefully before making a final decision. If you do decide to help them, make sure to take all necessary precautions and be prepared for the possibility of unforeseen challenges. Well, to put it simply, ghouls are created when humans are exposed to a high level of radiation. The radiation changes their cells, slowing down the aging process and giving them a unique appearance. Some people become ghouls almost immediately after exposure, while others may take longer to show signs of ghoulification. The process is different for everyone, and not everyone who is exposed to radiation will become a ghoul. Ghouls are often shunned by society due to their appearance and the fact that they can live for hundreds of years. Some ghouls are lucky enough to find acceptance among humans, while others are forced to live in isolation or with other ghouls. As a doctor, I've treated my fair share of ghouls over the years. They may look different than humans, but they still have the same basic medical needs. It's important to treat them with the same level of care and respect as any other patient, regardless of their appearance. There's still much we don't know about ghoulification, but it's clear that radiation plays a key role in the process. It's a reminder of the dangers of exposure to radiation and the need to be cautious and prepared when dealing with radioactive materials. Ah, I see. I'm sorry to hear that things had to end that way. But it's good that you were able to find closure and bring some measure of justice for what he did to you. I'm not going to pass judgment on what you did, as I believe that each person must make their own decisions and live with the consequences of their actions. But I will say this: revenge is a powerful emotion, and it's important to be mindful of its potential effects. Sometimes, even when we think we've moved on, the desire for revenge can linger and affect us in ways we don't expect. It's important to take the time to process what's happened and to find healthy ways to cope with our emotions. If you ever need someone to talk to about what you've been through, know that I'm here for you. Sometimes just talking about our experiences with someone who understands can be a healing and cathartic experience.
Howdy. What can Easy Pete do for you? Calm down. If you need her that much, just take it and get out of my damn sight.
Now run like fuck, Courier. You just robbed Difficult Pete. What the hell were you thinking?
I don't know what it was brought you to Prim, youngster, but you might want to rethink your plans. Town's gone to hell.
I haven't heard from them for a while now. Maybe you could track them down. I remember Walter saying he was going to take his pet Brahmin up the 95 to see Hoover Dam. They went everywhere together. George has been dying to see that crashed highwayman out near Novac. That boy is obsessed with those stories from out west. Talek comes from a small village just north of Goodsprings. Maybe he went back to visit. Daniel got shot when the powder gangers took over. I think he's still outside the office. Charlie said he saw something strange in the sky north of Vegas. Could be he went back to see what it was.
Chosen who, what now? Nah, sensationalist hooey, I says. Well, you always were a kid or six. All quiet lately. I'll know more when my fire ant spies get back.
Is this how you honor the sixth house and the tribe unmourned? Dagoth welcomes you. What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little Enwar? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the sixth house, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Vivek, and I have over 300 confirmed bottles of skooma drank. I am trained in guerrilla warfare, and I'm the top magician in the entire Morrowind armed forces. You are nothing to me but just another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth. Mark my fucking words. You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think again, fucker. As we speak, I am contacting my secret network of spies across Tamriel, and your IP is being traced right now, so you better prepare for the storm, maggot. The storm that wipes out the pathetic little thing you call your life. You're fucking dead, kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and I can kill you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of the Morrowind skooma stash, and I will use it to its full extent to wipe your miserable ass off the face of the continent, you little shit. If only you could have known what unholy retribution your little clever comment was about to bring down upon you, maybe you would have held your fucking tongue. But you couldn't, you didn't, and now you're paying the price, you goddamn idiot. I will shit fury all over you and you will drown in it. You're fucking dead, kiddo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, all the way from Utah. He's known as the Malpais Legate, but his real name is Joshua Graham. Joshua, thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here, Joe. Thank you for having me.
Joshua, you have a fascinating story. You were a member of Caesar's Legion, an army that's known for its brutality. But then something happened, and you left the Legion and became a sort of a hero among the people of New Canaan. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, Joe. I was a high-ranking member of the Legion, but after my failed attack on Hoover Dam, I was burned alive and thrown down the Grand Canyon, left for dead. But I survived, and I made it to New Canaan. They helped me find a new purpose in life and gave me a chance to redeem myself.
That's amazing, yet sad. You were the Malpais Legate, a respected leader, and then became yet another respected man in New Canaan. What's it like to be a leader in such a dangerous world, and how's New Canaan doing?
It's a heavy burden, Joe, but it's also an honor to be able to help people and make a difference. I try to lead by example and show people that there's always hope, even in the darkest of times. Unfortunately, the Whitelegs have recently destroyed New Canaan. I advise any traders who hear this message to steer clear of the town. That means you, Alice McLafferty.
That's unfortunate, but you deliver a great message, Joshua. And speaking of the Whitelegs, what do you think of Caesar?
I have nothing but contempt for Caesar. He's a bastard who preaches about strength and honor, but in reality he's a cruel and manipulative dictator who cares only for his own power. He's responsible for countless atrocities, and he's brought nothing but pain and suffering to the people of the Mojave. Not only that, but he actively perpetuates slavery with his slave boys.
Slave boys?
Sorry, I meant slave girls.
Those are some strong words. Have you ever met Caesar face to face?
Yes, I have. And let me tell you, he's not the impressive figure that he makes himself out to be. He's a small-minded man with a twisted sense of morality. I'm glad that I left his legion and found a better path.
It sounds like you've been through a lot, Joshua, but you've also found a way to make a positive impact on the world. Do you have any advice for people who are struggling to find their own purpose?
Yes, Joe. My advice would be to never give up hope and seek God. No matter how dark things may seem, there's always a way to turn things around. Find something that you're passionate about and throw yourself into it. God is but one path, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. We're all God's children and can accomplish great things together.
That's great advice, Joshua. Now, you mentioned earlier that you were a high-ranking member of Caesar's Legion. I'm sure our listeners are curious about one of the most notorious figures in the Legion, Legate Lennius. What can you tell us about him?
Ah, yes, Legate Lennius. He's a brutal warrior who's feared and respected by many in the Legion. He's a master of hand-to-hand combat and a skilled strategist. But he's also a man who's been consumed by his own rage and thirst for power. He's a dangerous foe to anyone who stands in his way.
It sounds like he's not someone you want to mess with.
No, he's not. Lennius is a force to be reckoned with. But I also know that he's not invincible. Every man has his weaknesses, and Lennius is no exception. If someone were to exploit those weaknesses, they might have a chance of defeating him.
Let's turn things around a bit and talk about herbal medicine. I've tried some healing powder, and that shit is the bomb. What can you tell us about natural medicine?
Natural medicine has been used for thousands of years to treat all kinds of ailments. The best part is that it doesn't rely on technology, which is ultimately good. There's also a certain psychedelic element to it, but I've only heard about it from recruit legionaries.
Isn't drug use forbidden by the Legion?
Yes, but to be honest, some of us don't give a shit.
That's fascinating. What are some examples of natural remedies that you've used?
Well, One of my favorites is yarrow. It's a plant that's been used for centuries to stop bleeding and promote healing. I've also used willow bark, which contains a natural form of aspirin, to relieve pain and reduce inflammation. And of course, there's healing powder, which is made from a combination of plants and minerals, and has a wide range of uses.
That's amazing. Have you ever done mushrooms?
Ha 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 ha. No, Joe, I haven't. As a former member of Caesar's Legion, drug use was strictly forbidden. Plus, I've always been more focused on achieving a higher state of consciousness through spiritual and meditative practices.
I hear you, but, some people claim that psychedelic experiences can lead to profound spiritual insights.
Yes, I've heard that as well. And I'm certainly not here to judge anyone's experiences. But for me personally, I prefer to rely on my own inner resources to achieve a higher state of consciousness.
That's totally understandable, and it's great that you have found a path that works for you. Thanks for sharing your perspective, Joshua.
You're welcome, Joe. It's been a pleasure.
Are you tired of living in a world filled with chaos and danger? Do you long for a safe and secure future? Look no further than the Brotherhood of Steel. At the Brotherhood of Steel, we believe in the power of technology and the importance of preserving it for future generations. Our highly trained soldiers and knights are dedicated to keeping the wasteland safe from the dangers that threaten to destroy it, using the latest in military hardware and cutting-edge technology. But we're more than just a military organization. We're a family. We value loyalty, honor, and a commitment to the greater good, and we welcome anyone who shares those values to join our ranks, whether you're a skilled fighter, a talented engineer, or just someone who wants to make a difference. There's a place for you in the Brotherhood of Steel. So if you're ready to fight for a better future and protect the wasteland from those who would destroy it, come join the Brotherhood of Steel. Remember the Brotherhood of Steel for a safer tomorrow? And I know I probably shouldn't have accepted this sponsorship offer, but they paid up front and in caps. 15,000 caps to be specific. Sure, I could have just pocketed the money and burned their letter with this offer. But the Brotherhood of Steel is just so fucking cool. I'm not even fully talking about their power armor, which, don't get me wrong, is so dope. But even the way they carry themselves and act like they're Knights of the Round Table, it's so sick. Everything about them is just so dope. And I know I'm going to catch some heat from Karen at the NCR's public relations office, for saying all of this. I just can't resist. The viewers and listeners watch and listen to my show because I say it like it is. No bullshit, just pure, unaltered opinion. And some of you may not like what I have to say, and that's fine. Hell, some of you may even have had friends or family who served or maybe even died during the NCR and Brotherhood of Steel war. But the Brotherhood is undeniably cool. Everything from the power armor to their laser and plasma weaponry, the way that they treat themselves like Knights of the Round Table, the technology that they amass, it's all very cool. And you know what? I've got a small batch of some special vault-grown wild wasteland kush on me right now that I'm going to spark up in honor of the Brotherhood of Steel. Cheers, everyone, and thank you to the Brotherhood of Steel for sponsoring the Joe Rogan Experience. And a quick message to NCR PR. When I'm on air, you don't get to blow up my Pip-Boy or Jamie's Pip-Boy with messages like, "What are you doing? Stop this right now." And if you don't cut your broadcast, we'll shut you down. And my favorite of all of the messages you guys sent, we're sending an NCR tactical unit to... Welcome back to the Joe Rogan Experience, where we explore a wide range of topics with fascinating guests from all walks of life. Today, we have a very special guest joining us from the Mojave Wasteland. He is the leader of New Vegas and a powerful figure in the post-apocalyptic world. Please welcome Mr. House.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mr. House, you have a very unique perspective on the world, given the fact that you've been around for over 200 years. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you've managed to survive all these years?
Certainly, Joe. I was born in 2020, and I've always had a keen interest in science and technology. In the 21st century, I became one of the wealthiest people in the world through my innovations in computing and robotics. When the Great War broke out in 2077, I managed to survive by sealing myself in a high-tech underground bunker known as the Lucky 38. From there, I've been able to monitor the world and make strategic moves to protect and advance my interests.
That's incredible. And now, You're the leader of New Vegas, a city that has managed to thrive in the midst of all this chaos. How have you been able to achieve that?
Well, Joe, it's taken a lot of careful planning and hard work. I've invested heavily in technology and infrastructure, and I've established a strong system of law and order.
It's amazing how you've been able to maintain power and stability in such a chaotic world. I'm sure our listeners have a lot of questions for you, Mr. House, so let's get started. One of the most fascinating things about your story, Mr. House, is how you managed to live for over 200 years. Can you tell us more about the technology that allowed you to survive?
Of course, Joe. As I mentioned earlier, I was always interested in science and technology, and I had access to some of the most advanced equipment and knowledge of the time. When I realized that the Great War was imminent, I knew I had to take drastic measures to ensure my survival. So I poured all my resources into creating a self-sustaining underground facility known as the Lucky 38.
That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Can you tell us more about the Lucky 38 and what it was capable of?
The Lucky 38 was designed to be a self-sustaining bunker that could provide me with all the resources I needed to survive indefinitely. It had its own power supply and air purification system.
That's amazing. And what about your physical body? Did you undergo any procedures or enhancements to prolong your lifespan?
Yes, Joe. I realized early on that my physical body would not last forever, so I made the decision to transfer my consciousness into a machine. I developed a sophisticated technology that allowed me to upload my mind into a network of computers.
That's incredible. It's amazing how technology has allowed you to overcome the limitations of the human body and live for centuries. I can only imagine the possibilities this kind of technology could have for humanity in the future.
Indeed, Joe. The potential for technological advancements is limitless, and as long as I'm alive, I will continue to use my knowledge and resources to advance the cause of science and technology.
Let's talk more about your work in New Vegas, Mr. House. The city has become a beacon of hope in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Can you tell us more about what you did to save the city and establish stability?
Certainly, Joe. When I regained consciousness long after the bombs fell, I saw an opportunity to rebuild and create a new society. I knew that the Hoover Dam was a crucial source of power and water, so I made it my mission to secure the dam and establish a city around it, but the NCR got to it first.
And how did you manage to establish order and stability in the city?
Well, Joe, I knew that a successful society needed a strong foundation of law and order. I created the Securitron robots, which were designed to enforce my laws and protect the citizens of New Vegas. I also established the 4 families who have helped maintain peace and stability in the city.
It's amazing how you were able to establish such a functional society in the midst of all this chaos. What would you say has been your biggest challenge in running New Vegas?
The biggest challenge, Joe, has been dealing with the various factions and groups that exist in the wasteland. I've had to navigate complex political relationships, especially with the NCR, and make tough decisions to maintain the stability of the city. But overall, I'm proud of what I've accomplished in New Vegas.
It's truly impressive, Mr. House. You have managed to build a thriving society in a world that was once thought to be uninhabitable. I'm sure our listeners are inspired by your story and your vision for the future. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the new California Republic, NCR. Mr. House, they're a powerful faction that's been vying for control of the Mojave Wasteland. What are your thoughts on the NCR and their goals?
Well, Joe, the NCR is certainly a formidable force in the wasteland. They've managed to establish a functioning government and maintain a level of stability in their territories. However, I disagree with their approach to governance and their reliance on outdated political systems.
Can you elaborate on that?
Of course, the NCR is a democratic republic, which means that they rely on the whims of the people to make decisions. This can lead to slow decision-making and a lack of long-term planning. I believe that a strong, visionary leader like myself is better equipped to make the tough decisions necessary for the survival and advancement of our society.
That's a bold claim, Mr. House. Do you think that your approach is better suited to the challenges of the wasteland?
Absolutely, Joe. The wasteland is a dangerous and unpredictable place, and it requires a leader who can make tough decisions quickly and efficiently. The NCR's democratic system is simply not equipped to handle the challenges we face. That's why I believe that New Vegas is the best hope for the future of humanity. I'm a busy man, so I'm afraid we may have to cut it short.
That's okay. It's certainly a controversial viewpoint, Mr. House. I'm sure there are those who disagree with you. But there's no denying that your vision and your leadership have brought about significant changes to the Mojave Wasteland. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
Let me tell you about our sponsor for today's show. Have you ever found yourself wandering the wasteland, parched and desperate for a drink? Well, worry no more because our sponsor has the solution. Introducing Sunset Sarsaparilla, the official beverage of the Mojave Wasteland. It's the perfect combination of sweetness and carbonation that will quench your thirst and give you the energy you need to keep trekking through this unforgiving landscape. Now, I know what you're thinking. Joe, is Sunset Sarsaparilla safe to drink? I don't want to end up with radiation poisoning. Well, let me tell you, Sunset Sarsaparilla has been thoroughly tested and is completely safe to consume. Definitely. In fact, it's so good, you'll forget you're even in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Another question is, Joe, hasn't Sunset Sarsaparilla stopped production since the Great War? The answer is no. The NCR is actively building new manufacturing factories in the West, and those factories produce many products. One of those products is Sunset Sarsaparilla, which means it's in production again. So the next time you're out scavenging for supplies, be sure to grab a cold and refreshing bottle of Sunset Sarsaparilla. And don't forget to tune in to our show for more exciting adventures in the Mojave Wasteland.
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, forming tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic. Dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world. And a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and sent it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves forged from the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam just barely against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river it gathers strength. Campfires burn, training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
Hey, man. Who the hell are you? They bring you in to replace me? They're replacing me, aren't they?
That's right. I'm here for your job.
Ah, shit. Shit, man. I need this. Gotta pay the bills. And I'm addicted to a lot of different kinds of chems. I mean a lot.
You pay me a stack of caps right now and I'll forget you have my job.
Aw, man. How am I supposed to buy chems now? Fine, here.
What do you do here?
What else? I'm in charge. This whole operation depends on me. No fantastic, no power. Got the whole NCR suckling my teats, and it feels so good.
How did you get this job?
It was easy, man. They were going door to door asking if anyone knew any scientists. I said look no further. They asked me if I knew anything about power plants. I said as much as anyone I had ever met. They asked me how well I understood theoretical physics. I said I had a theoretical degree in physics. They said welcome aboard.
I don't think I should be joining the NCR. They seem to be a weak society that hire intellectually crippled man-children to be in charge of solar power plants.
It's unusual to see a new face here. Are you a soldier or a scientist?
I'm a soldier.
Oh, that explains it. NCR? Who do you fight for?
My only true allegiance is to myself.
Then for everyone's sake, I hope you serve a worthy master. Are you a maker of war or peace?
Fire and war.
That's an unfortunate mistake. As a follower of the apocalypse, I've studied all my life, but I'll never understand how people don't foresee what lies ahead on that path.
This guy sounds like a pussyo. Another faction I need to avoid in future.
Hey!
Good lord, what is this monstrosity? I feel the temptation to shoot at it.
What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial.
You're a little bitch, and your brother was too.
Oh, now it's on! I've got you now.
This looks to be a respectable and wise gentleman.
Careful. They got spies all over. Who sent you? I ain't talking. They tried to get me to talk before, but I didn't say nothing. And I don't aim to now, by gum.
Who tried to make you talk?
Confound it, Nobark, you done it again. You let on that you know things. Now they'll never let you be. All right, stranger, you got me. What do you want to know?
I'm looking for a man in a checkered coat. Have you seen anyone like that?
Sure have. Camouflage, that coat was, trying to hide from extraterrestrials what can only see in black and white checkers. But they're not fooled, because he forgot to put checkers on his face. I told him so, and he seemed to take it to heart. They stayed here a night and was up by the dinosaur talking to the sniper fella with the mustache a couple of times.
Why do they call you Nobark?
'Cause they know I ain't just barking here. What I say has got bite, 'cause it's the truth. Them quack doctors can say what they want about all the rat scorpion stings that done pierced my skull, and I know what I seen.
Goodbye.
If anyone asks, we never spoke.
Hello there. It's good to see a friendly face. I almost took you for a raider, I did. Name's Malcolm. Malcolm Holmes. Don't suppose you'd care to trade. I'm missing a few essentials and... screw this. Lying just ain't in my nature. I'll tell it to you straight. I've been following you for a good bit now.
Don't follow me. You'll live longer.
Okay. You're a dangerous sort, I get that. But I have some information I think you'll find useful which made me follow you for a spell. It started off innocently enough. I was traveling, as I often do, and happened to observe you picking up one of those blue star caps. You didn't show any reaction to it, so I figured you didn't know what you'd gotten your hands on.
Why didn't you say anything then and there?
I had to make sure of your disposition. There's a lot of jumpy folks out there that'll shoot a man as soon as talk to him. Now that we're conversing, though, I can tell you what I know about those caps. There's an old wasteland legend that says somewhere out there is a fabulous treasure from before the war. Those caps with the blue star on them, the tale goes, are the key to that treasure. They're called Sunset Sarsaparilla Stars.
Thanks for the info, but I'll be going now.
No problem. If you do end up trying to collect more stars, watch out for a man named Alan Marks. He's killed several people for their stars already.
I should kill this stalker before he gives any more people post-traumatic stress disorder.
Penthouse floor.
Be advised, the Lucky 38 is not open to the general public. Trespassers will be shot. Thank you.
Do these Securitrons ever shut up?
This meeting has been a long time coming, hasn't it? You've come a long ways, literally, and, I suspect, figuratively as well. I have to ask, now that you've reached your destination, what do you make of what you see?
Can we get down to business?
Oh, by all means, yes. That's refreshing. The business is this. One of my employees has stolen an item of extraordinary value from me, and I want it recovered. Simple enough.
What do you propose?
My only concern is the recovery of the platinum chip. What happens to Benny, I leave to your discretion. When you bring the chip to me, I will pay you 4 times the delivery bonus stipulated in your contract. How's that?
It's a good start, but well below market price.
Very well. 5 times the bonus. Not 1 cap more.
1,250 caps. I accept your terms.
Well enough. Return to me when you have the platinum chip in your possession. Any final matters for us to discuss?
I'll return when I have the chip.
Until then.
Congratulations, partner.
Hey, you there. I have a message for you. It's from Ambassador Crocker. Very important. Here you go.
I don't think I've ever seen this many people before. I heard that people love to dabble in drugs and alcohol in Vegas.
Wow.
Maybe I should try it out.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, baby, I'm drunk as fucking on drugs.